My name is Andre Renier. I'm the co-founder of Catholic Christian Outreach, which is a university student movement that is functioning on campuses throughout Canada. It's really a good news story of growth, and something beautiful is being played out here. You just see the hand of God working in the movement over the last 30 years. But there is a backstory to this. As a founder, there's my story. And there's much I could say about what God has done in my life and how He's worked and how He's helped me through good times and difficult times. But I want to focus in a little bit on an undiagnosed learning disability. I've never went and received diagnosis, but I know it's there. Growing up, school did not come naturally to me. It took me 14 years to get through 12 years of school. So I failed grade 4 and I failed grade 7. I was unable to retain material. When I read something, I would forget it instantly. I was unable to write, maybe a little bit hyperactive. Leaving high school, I could have been voted the most unlikely to go to university. But I want to talk a little bit about how God was able to use me in my weaknesses and my challenges. The scripture says, "In your weakness, He is strong." Well, that's my story. In 1981, I had a profound conversion, and I just felt like God was asking me to do something. There was a sense that there was a mission that the Lord had me do, and I didn't know what it was. But very quickly after my conversion, I got a phone call from a friend of mine saying, "Hey, come, our coach wants you to come and wrestle at the University of Saskatchewan." I had no aspirations to go to university, but one thing I had was I was a great athlete, and their universities would love me to have went and wrestled with their university. So I thought, hey, what the heck? And I filled out the forms and I sent it to him, and I said, get it to the university. January of that year, in 1982, I went, filled out the application. I had no idea if I got accepted or not, but the night before, I found out that he didn't even send in my registration. So the university had no idea that I was there. Anyway, what I did on January 3rd is I went to the registrar's office and I had a meeting with one of the ladies there. And I said, I'd like to go to university. And all I had was a photocopy of my transcript. And the transcript, my high school transcript, was not impressive. It was all general subjects and about a 52 average. You wouldn't look at it and say, whoa, that guy is qualified to go to university. I was probably the first person to come off the street and say, hey, I'd like to go to university. And she said, well, show me your transcripts. And I showed her my transcripts, and she looked at them, she saw them. But for some reason, she said, well, go to this class and see if there's any openings. So I went there and I said, well, they just sent me here to see if there's any openings. They said, yeah, actually, there is one opening in this class. And so I gave her my name, and she wrote down her name on a slip, which you shouldn't have done because I wasn't even registered. And so I take that slip back to the registrar's office, and they said, well, yeah, you're in. Let's go get some other classes. So I found myself registering for 4 classes that year. I mean, the story itself tells you that the hand of God was there. He wanted me, a weak individual, somebody that did not plan or even prepare themselves to go to university, to graduate from university, but even more, used by God to start a movement dedicated to evangelization on university campuses. The irony is so evident. My weakness became God's strength. And so 30 years later, this miracle is unfolding. I will finish off with this. That yes, I have a learning disability. I find it very difficult to read and retain material. I've never used that as an excuse why I can't do something. I'm the worst writer in the world. Well, I wouldn't say that, but pretty darn close. I've written 3 books, but I've had to fight through. I've had to work hard to write those books. I've spent a lot of time over and over again, rewriting, rereading, rechanging. I mean, it takes me hours to write one paragraph where another person could do it in 5 minutes. And so I encourage anyone that has weaknesses, has disabilities, Yes, you've got to manage them, but don't use them as an excuse to not allow God to use you to do what you need to do. But you need to fight, you need to work hard, you need to pay the price to move forward on your dreams and allow God to actualize those dreams in you for His greater glory.